Hello again, YouTube. Creatine, week 3 update. This week's question, has it made me faster? Well, yes, I think it has. And I've got some evidence for that. So I've had a heavy week. Did another 2x20 session on Tuesday. And again, felt stronger in the second half than I did in the first, which is all good. Wednesday evening I did my first 2-up 10-mile time trial, and together with a buddy I haven't ridden with in years, we put in 10 miles in 25:46. Not too shabby. And then yesterday I took myself up the Ventoux on Zwift, and not only did I get a PB, I PB'd by over 5 minutes, and I didn't feel like I was blowing out my arse. So based on that, I'd say yes, it probably has made me faster, or something has.
And those were just the sessions I could remember as I was cycling uphill with a camera in my hand. On top of that, I did my usual Wednesday team time trial on Zwift, which was a proper beating, to be fair, especially after the Wednesday evening on-road time trial, where I think I did leave it all out there on the road, if I'm completely honest. And I also did a pretty useful VO2 max run session, a useful swim as well, plus also, you know, I'm mixing in some weight sessions each week. So I think it's fair to say that last week was a pretty full gas week from a training perspective. Now, in terms of the numbers, yeah, definitely I feel like I'm getting faster. But when I look at Garmin, the numbers really don't mean anything to me. You know, I'm not seeing a huge increase in power. I'm not seeing any of my health statistics move markedly. There was, however, just one spike in body water towards the beginning of taking the creatine, and I kind of thought to myself, well, that makes sense, you know, all this stuff I'd read about it, drawing water into your muscles, and then suddenly that fell off a cliff, and I can't really explain that. However, I have been playing around with the dose of creatine I was taking. I was using just 1 scoop out of the pot, and that's just somewhere between 3 and 4 grams, and I thought that probably isn't enough, so I upped it to 2 scoops. Interestingly, that drop in the sort of upward sloping body water I was seeing happened at the same time as I increased the dose. Now, there's the old gem about correlation does not equal causation, and that's very true. You know, there could be a number of reasons for that. You know, we've had a couple of really hot weeks. I probably haven't hydrated as well as I should have done. Plus also, you know, you've got the creatine drawing water into your muscles and stuff like that, you know. Let's not forget as well that all of my body metrics are taken with a Garmin Index Scale. It tries its best, but it's not a very accurate way of measuring these things. It's not like a DEXA scan or something like that. It's always kind of there or thereabouts kind of numbers. So there are a number of reasons that, you know, I think that the numbers I'm getting out of my Garmin scale probably can't be relied on. I think the one thing that I would fall back on, though, is from this morning's ride, how I felt. Now, when I woke up, I'd had a disturbed night, thanks to some neighbours, and I looked at my watch, and the Phoenix 7 said to me, just do a recovery ride, 145 watts for 30 minutes. So obviously I went out and did 3 hours, kind of tempo. And what I found this morning was that I'm kind of having to rethink what power feels like, or certain power levels feel like on the bike. Now let me qualify that. I've ridden with a power meter for a long time, and I think I'm pretty good at knowing what 200 watts, 250 watts, 300 watts feels like. What I found this morning, though, was I was pushing on into a headwind, and in my head I said, you know, just judging by what the legs were feeling, I thought 200 watts. Looked at the power meter and it was nearer 300. And that happened several times. it's like 300 watts is feeling a little bit easier than it used to. And that ties in, with the other things that I've observed about being able to sustain power longer and not sort of falling off a cliff like I used to in terms of effort. And I'm definitely seeing that across the workouts I'm doing. A good example being the Team Time Trial I did on Zwift. I really felt like I was struggling about 3/4 of the way through the race. I'd actually said, do you know what, I might not take a 2-minute slot on the front, I might take a 1-minute slot, but I did my 2 minutes. By the end of the race, I still had enough power in the legs for this rather spirited sprint. And definitely I was seeing that this morning. Right to the end of the ride, I was feeling strong. So I'm not seeing any credible, measurable data that I could present to you and say, this is making a difference. The changes that I'm seeing are very subjective because they're just me saying I feel better. But I tell you what, I know I'm faster, I know I'm stronger, and we're just 3 weeks in. So anyway, I said I'm going to commit to this for 4 weeks, and I am to this initial period for 4 weeks. I think what the plan is at the end of next week, I'll do kind of a summary of where I kind of got to at the end of 4 weeks. And let's extend this longer, because honestly, I don't think 4 weeks is a credible period, one, to gather any data over, or two, to see any proper measurable results, other than the subjective things I think I'm feeling at the moment. So I think, report end of next week, and then I think probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a creatine update once a month as we go over the next 6 months, year or whatever. Just where am I getting with it and where's the performance going? I would say right now, yeah, definitely. I'm glad I've included it as a supplement in my regular training sort of plan. I would say that there's no reason for anyone not to include it, knowing what I know about it, given how safe it's proven over many, many years of research, given how cheap it is, and given that there are some proven health benefits to it. Honestly, it's feeling like a no-brainer. I started this just out of interest, but like I say, I think I'm actually feeling a benefit, and that's pretty cool. So anyway, let's see where we go with this one. And like I say, big check-in next week, end of the 4 weeks. That was the initial period I wanted to measure it over, and we'll take it from there. If you've made it this far through, thank you very much, as always, for watching. You have my sincere thanks and admiration. I've got another shorter video coming out this week, one focused around the My List feature on Zwift, and how that's something I'd completely overlooked, and something that's really cool and really helpful. So anyway, watch out for that one. Like I say, if you've watched any of this, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next.